So, Darren, why do you think Labour MPs hate Lee Anderson so much? We saw a clip on Question Time of someone asking Lisa Nandy, "Why are you offended? You know, you're not. Your job isn't to be offended. It's to question. It's to debate." And I think that just sums up why are they so offended with Lee Anderson? Because I think his views are actually more representative of the rest of the country than the majority of the Labour Party or the Conservative Party.
I mean, Lisa Nandy, she's quite the one. She was pictured, Jess, with a refugees are welcome placard at one point, and I said this just proves that Labour will manage Britain's borders about as well as frostbitten penis Prince Harry has managed his quest for privacy, right? Because it says something that these left-wing figures think Lee Anderson needs to be taken out. Not Rishi Sunak. They're not attacking Rishi Sunak. They're attacking Lee Anderson. They're going hell for leather, Adam. Hammer and tongs. I've never seen such venom and vitriol. And I wonder, Jess, ask yourself this. Could it be because former pitman Lee Anderson actually understands the working class a hell of a lot better than the so-called Labour Party actually ever can hope to do so? They know that attacking him is popular because he's everything that the left despise. He's working class. He's rejected the left despite being working class. He voted for Brexit. Oh God, how awful, how terribly unenlightened of him. He must be a thick, chippy little oik. And there are so many ways in which they assume that someone like Lee Anderson, a former pitman, should be a product of the left. And I mean, Jess, it's in their name, right? They're meant to stand up for the working men and women of Britain, the Labour Party. But their history throughout my lifetime, throughout your lifetime, says something quite different. It says, it or suggests that they're more at ease with whackery and wokery than they are with king and country. That they're supremely relaxed about mass migration over the labour market here in Britain, and that they did all they could, with Sir Keir Starmer, of course, leading the charge as the architect of that party's second referendum policy to overturn our vote for Brexit. I can remember, Jess, Lisa Nandy, saying that her biggest mistake in Parliament was voting for the EU referendum. So imagine that. Imagine thinking that your biggest error ever as a parliamentarian, as a legislator, in the most important parliament in the land, wasn't being in a party with Jeremy Corbyn, who has offered succour and support to most of Britain's enemies. It wasn't backing Brussels over Britain in saying we need a second EU referendum and that Brussels would have us over a barrel. It wasn't even supporting the self-ID madness after what we've seen take place in Scotland in women-only spaces. Her biggest regret was giving we plebs the power to vote against our EU-loving political class. That's why Lee cuts through. That's why they hate him, because he's nothing like these people. He's got principle and he's got potency. He says it how it is, and he doesn't take any nonsense. And I tell you what, give me Lee over these university-educated snobs any day of the week. And I leave you with George Orwell. Often he cited in these kinds of discussions far too often, and becoming a bit of a cliche, I guess. But he once said, Jess, that English intellectuals would feel more ashamed of standing to attention during God Save the King than they would stealing from a poor box. And I think that pretty much sums up the sneering contempt that the today's left have for working class people like Lee Anderson.